get to the on-feet fit and comfort section of the video, we're going to cover why, if you've got a wide foot, these could be perfect for you. What's up guys, James here from BootWizard Boot Reviews, and today we are going to do a full tech spec breakdown of the New Balance Tekela V1. Now, we're getting this out right now because the New Balance Tekela V2 is due any minute now. Literally, like right now. If you go on the New Balance website, they're probably dropping it this second. So this is a good opportunity for you to check out the V1 before the V2 comes out, and we can compare the two. So getting into the appearance of the boot, I think that these are really nice looking. I think that New Balance are the absolute kings of the chrome sole plate, especially on the newer Tekelas. The kind of matte chrome that they've got looks fantastic. I like the silhouette with the little extension pieces on the front and the back, with the pull tab in the back with the Tekela on it. I don't mind the big New Balance branding down the side, although I realize that's probably quite a controversial piece. Like, a lot of people wouldn't like that, and I totally get it. I think the kinetic stitch looks cool as it goes through it, and it looks great in some of the other colors as well. It doesn't stand out quite as much with the black on black. If you want to look different, if you don't want to be wearing the same Adidas Predators that everybody's wearing, grab yourself a pair of New Balance Tekelas. Great boot and sure to turn some heads because people are going to be like, hey, what are those? So straight off the bat, I'll let you know I'm a big fan of this boot. I think this is the best boot New Balance has ever made, and I think this is right up there as one of the best boots on the market right now, and it rivals a lot of stuff that's being put out by Nike, Adidas, and Puma. It really is that good. Most of the reason I like this boot is because of the upper. So the upper on this is a microfiber synthetic, which actually feels a lot like a synthetic leather. It's almost got a little bit of a Kangalite feel, but it's much thinner and more flexible than that. This is buttery soft, straight out of the box. Now, I've worn these a fair bit, but these are really, really nice as soon as you buy them. And then on top of that, you have this kinetic stitch technology. So you see these shiny areas that run through. This is all stitching, and it's been covered over by like a silicone, basically. So the stitching is there to provide structure to the upper of the boot. So the boot is so flexible and so soft that it needs to have some kind of structure, and stitching is a good way of doing that. It's how they've always done it previously on things like the Copa Mundial. But that adds hard points, and it adds tension to the upper, and it provides areas of the boot that aren't uniform. So what they've done is they've covered it in silicone coating, which actually provides you with a little bit of grip and feel on the ball as well. So it serves two purposes. It gives you structure, and it also means that you get a little bit of extra grip on the ball that actually feels fantastic. New Balance have also done this stitching in a really clever way. So the way that the liner and the upper of the boot have been put together means that the stitching sits on the boot and between the boot and the liner. So you never come in contact with any of this stitching on the inside of the boot. It never touches your feet, which leaves you with a nice clean sensation on the inside of your foot. And it really means that there's nothing that's going to interrupt or chafe or anything like that. It's a really cool modern take on an old way of giving structure to a very soft upper on a boot. As I say, the upper is very flexible and thin, so the touch on the ball is slightly on the barefoot side, but that liner on the inside does have some padding to it, so it's kind of like a mid barefoot. It's certainly not padded, it's certainly more towards barefoot, but I wouldn't be expecting anything like a vapor kind of feel. It's not really sharp or pingy, but it is definitely more barefoot. The upper itself is basically a one-piece upper because the tongue is entirely stitched into the boot, even though it's made from a different material. It's made from a neoprene material, which runs all the way into this little extension piece in the back. As always, a one-piece upper means a dual lace hole setup, which you can see here, and it is a stacked dual lace hole setup. So overall, the upper, soft, leather-like, super flexible, ready to go straight out of the box. It's basically broken in, and with a nice amount of grip on the upper to give you grip on the ball with a slightly barefoot feel. Okay, so let's check out the weights. This is my size, UK 8, which is an EU 42 and a US 8.5 in the New Balance. So these come in at 242 grams on my scale. Now, that is heavy for a football boot these days. When you consider that most boots come in between, say, 200 to 220 grams, this is heavy. So if you are looking for a super lightweight football boot, maybe this isn't the one for you. It's not a deal breaker for me, but it might be for you. So the Soleplate on the New Balance Tekela is a TPU plastic with nylon injected inserts, which you can see in the stiffened areas in the midfoot and the heel. They do a great job of maintaining the rigidity of the Soleplate, and then you get a really flexy forefoot on this boot, which might not be to your taste, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. I generally prefer a slightly more springy, slightly stiffer forefoot, but in this instance, this matches the boot really perfectly. I've said this before about the Puma Future. The Puma Future Soleplate and the way the Future feels, they're a good match. They mesh together and it really feels like the boot's been smartly designed. And this feels the same way. That super soft malleable upper with the super soft flexible outsole really complement each other, and I think it's a good pairing. The stud pattern is fairly standard, and as you can see, I've used mine quite a lot, so the chrome is actually coming off from the Soleplate. But the stud pattern is fairly standard. It looks a lot like what you're gonna get from Adidas at the moment. So comparing it to the Predator, you can see it's a very, very similar stud pattern in terms of layout and even stud shape. So these aren't conical studs. They do have like a square design to them, but they very much react and work like a conical stud. It's not super aggressive. It does do a decent job. I'd like to see an improvement on the V2 when it comes out. At least they haven't tried to do anything crazy, which New Balance are liable to do at times. So let's talk value for money on the New Balance Tekela V1, which is the top end model. These retail for 210 euros, which puts you in the same bracket as a lot of Nike and Adidas boots. You're just a little bit cheaper than their elite models and 10 euros more expensive than the top end boots from Puma. So you are pricing yourself into some really stiff competition. Is it worth the money? Yes, when you compare it to those other boots, the quality is just as good, the boot is just as good, and it offers something that those brands don't really offer. It is very different, which you've got to give New Balance credit for. Is 210 euros good value for money though? No, it's still a lot of money to spend on a pair of football boots, and it couldn't really be considered good value for money. But if you can get these on sale, because they are New Balance and they're not as popular, you tend to find that the New Balance boots go on sale at much higher discounts. You can pick up a pair of Tekelas at the moment for about 100 to 120 euros if you look around and you can grab a pair in your size. So I highly recommend this boot. I can definitely say you should go out and get a pair if you're interested, but if you can get them on sale, you can save yourself an absolute ton.
You're welcome! Wait, what now?
Now, to the bit that most of you are probably interested in, which is the fit. These are quite a wide boot for a couple of reasons. So they're already naturally quite wide through the midfoot. Like, they aren't just generally a wide boot. On top of that, the way the boot has been constructed, they have a very shallow lacing system. So the lacing system only runs to here, which means the rest of the boot is just this super soft material, which gives you a lot of width in the forefoot. If you have a very wide forefoot, this boot is probably going to really appeal to you because it's going to give you extra room. And on top of that, if you can get these direct through New Balance, they also offer a wide fit version. So you can get this already quite wide boot with a wide toe box in a wide fit. There's no reason that anybody who wants a pair of these shouldn't be able to get them if they have wide feet. These are a great boot for people with wide feet. I will have a video up on the channel shortly, which will be my top 3 picks for football boots, soccer cleats, for people with wide feet. So get subscribed if you want to get that video. In terms of comfort, I find these an incredibly comfortable boot. Everything about them is super designed for comfort. The insole is actually very nice. It's one of the better ones around. The upper being super soft really feels nice around my foot. Comfort-wise, this is one of the most comfortable boots that I have had on in a while. In terms of sizing, I have these in my regular size UK 8. Now, this fits me fine, but I do have about like 3/4 of a thumb at the front of my boot that I could definitely get away with going down half a size. So if you are looking to buy these, do check out your regular size, but also check out the half size down if you are looking for a tighter, more responsive fit. So despite the positives I've just thrown out there, we do have to discuss some negatives, and some of the negatives come from the positives. So I've just said that if you have a wide foot, these are going to be very good because they have a very shallow lacing system. You get more room in the toe box. This is true. However, this also means that your lockdown is not as good. The deeper the lacing system generally, the better lockdown you're going to get because that is the area that's locked in. Here, you've only really got lockdown to this area here, which means that you don't have a great amount of lockdown in this forefoot area. It gives you a bigger, cleaner striking surface, which is a pro, but the lockdown suffers, which is a con. It fits people with wide feet better, which is a pro, but it suffers in terms of responsiveness, which is a con. So it really is all about what you prefer. I think these are great boots and I can deal with these issues, but you might not be able to. Similarly, we also need to address the heel liner. So this green heel liner with the 2 green pods on either side is made from kind of a neoprene type material, which is fine. And I don't really suffer any problems with this because I generally wear grip socks. However, I know many people who I have recommended this boot to because they have wide feet, they're very happy with it, but they suffer with a bit of heel slippage, which means it can lead to things like blisters. So overall, a fantastic boot, and the upper on these really is something special. They do have their issues. The question is whether these boots are absolutely right for you. If you think that something like weight is not a big problem for you, and you don't mind the other things, this really could be a boot for you. It's highly underrated. You can get it at a great price, and I definitely recommend it. If you do want to catch that upcoming video on boots for people with wide feet, then do remember to subscribe. And if you want to catch any of my videos on the brand new Mercurial Vapor 13, click the link over here. That's all from BootWizard today. Have a good one, and we'll see you soon.